What's going on, y'all? I'm here to talk about the changes I've made for Comfey in my ROM hack. Before I get into explaining a lot of stuff, first of all, you can pause the video and read all that text, and that'll help give you some background info for the questions that I'll explain a little bit more later in the video. But before I can get into explaining anything, I need to have a quick disclaimer for any new viewers. Appreciate y'all clicking on the video, man. If you're a returning viewer, you can always skip ahead about a minute, to skip past the intro. But for new viewers, I recommend you pause the video and read the description. It's got a bullet point list explaining all of the fundamentals of the ROM hack and the background information that'll be important for you to understand. So give that a little read. It's just bullet points. And then when you're done with this video, you can check out all my other ones. I have videos for every single other Pokemon buff and change in the game. I have videos explaining the basics of the ROM hack. I have so much content about it. And I also I really recommend, if you haven't done this yet, or if you're new, to go to the Google Sheet link down below when you're done with the video, and look at the move guide. I've got every single move in the game categorized into these categories you see on screen right now. And you can just click them and it'll take you there, and it's pretty easy to navigate. And I recommend you just scroll and get a grasp of how things work that way. So that's great. I think that's pretty much all I need to say. Last thing I'll say is, make sure you drop a like, comment, sub, all that good stuff. It really does make a big difference with getting my videos out to more people, getting my ROM hack out to more people. So yeah. So Comfey, first thing I gotta address is removing triage. So triage was repurposed into rapid fire. Those of you who are returning or long-time, fans of mine will already know this whole spiel and understand why. But if you go to the ability guide, you can click on rapid fire and it'll show you what it does. It's a really cool ability. It's super fucking awesome. There are more candidates for rapid fire than for triage. There's about, I actually forget exactly how many, but I know there's more, almost double rapid fire mons compared to triage mons. Like if you go through the decks, there's only so many mons that fit triage, right? Like Chansey, Meganium, I guess, a couple others maybe, like probably just those three if I'm being real, and then Comfey. And that's cool, but like number one, they're all kind of similar with it, and then number two, it's just not that good. Like it's good, obviously, especially for Comfey, right? Like that's the main reason Comfey is good in normal games, is because of triage. That's literally the only reason it's worth using. But I could give it new tools that make up for losing that, because again, rapid fire is a really cool ability. It's a stronger ability, and it can be applied to more mons. So that's why triage is gone. So I replaced it with Regenerator, which is a pretty logical flavor choice for it. And a Pure Fairy with Regenerator is never bad. I've given it a lot more HP and SPDF as well, so it's even bulkier. I figured the high SPDF fits because stuff like Florges has like 154 SPDF, right? So I think like a little flower guy can still have like a high SPDF stat. And then again, I did give it a lot, and I mean a lot, of really cool exclusive tools, purely because of the fact that triage is gone. I wanted them to still feel fun and unique. So they have 2 flinch moves, they have all types of crazy debuffing stuff, and they also have 2 really good immunity abilities. So initially I was considering Wind Rider, but if you go to the list, despite Wind Rider being buffed, it's still pretty underwhelming on Comfey, because almost all of the moves for Wind Rider are special attacks. And of course it's not going to use the attack boost at all, and it doesn't make sense to be a physical attacker. So I opted for Levitate instead, because it's, it can take first of all, ground moves are also a lot more common than wind moves. Even with all the new wind moves, it's still better to just have Levitate if you're, not already immune to ground. And yeah, it's just nice to be able to switch to that whenever you need it. And then I chose Sap Sipper. Obviously, in Japanese, Sap Sipper is a flavor for Sap Sipper is like they eat plants, and Comfey doesn't necessarily eat plants. However, this is the only ability in the game that makes you immune to grass, and I think Comfey makes a lot of sense to be immune to grass, given that its whole thing is like collecting flowers and having this connection with nature. So yeah, I wanted Comfey to be immune to grass. In Sweltering Sun, they had Grassy Surge, but I'm actually saving that for Florges now, which is another Pure Fairy type with, heavy connections to plants and flowers, so that's another reason. But I saved Regenerator for Comfey specifically, so yeah, Grassy Surge would have been cool, but honestly, I like Sap Sipper more on Comfey anyways. I think having double immunity plus regen is just really good defensive utility. Being a fairy with immunity to grass or ground, depending on the scenario, is just super valuable. So that's really fun, and really fun to play with, right? Because you can switch your abilities constantly, so depending on the prep for that boss fight, you can switch to immunities or just, use Regenerator, which is always going to be good. You've got tons of great defensive utility moves. The 2 most unique ones are the flinch moves. They're also good offensive moves, of course. So I gave them hold back, not to abuse the attack boost, but just as like free chip, right? It's still a 40 base power move for free, with literally no drawback, and it gives you a +1 accuracy boost as well, which can be useful for landing Dreamy Kiss, which is a 85% accurate sleep move. So you can get a consistent 2 guaranteed turns of sleep with Dreamy Kiss plus hold back without having to hold the wide lens or anything. And technically you can also run Hurricane. I think that's the only other inaccurate move they have though, is Hurricane. Yeah, everything else is 100% accurate in this game, but you know, that's cool. Holdback is a nice little option just for extra chip, extra damage, and a little bit of utility there with the, well, it has a lot of utility, but a little bit of synergy with your moves as well. But the main thing is just free 40 base power chip move. Later, actually, not even later. So the thing is, most Pokemon that get access to flinch moves like Springtide Storm and stuff, like Ribombee, for example, get to that like level fucking 60, right? Because it's really overpowered on them. But Comfey isn't going crazy with like sweeping or anything necessarily, like Ribombee would be. And so I can justify putting it earlier, and then it's kind of like Bombardier, where I give it Rock Drop super early, literally at level 1, right? Which is another like exclusive flinch move. And these tools are incredible in an in-game context. It's so strong to have a guaranteed flinch priority in an in-game context, because the AI is never going to switch out of that. They're never going to counter it. So you just get a guaranteed big damage. You get free healing. You break Focus Sash. You break Sturdy. You break all types of stuff. You cheese Quick Claw. So many different applications. Very versatile move. And also the fact that Springtide Storm heals is kind of cool. It kind of makes up for losing that, Triage Draining Kiss. Of course, this is only single use, but it's double the power, damn near, of Draining Kiss, so that's cool. And of course, you still have Draining Kiss, and you're still fast, relatively speaking. You can still do some like Choice Scarf offensive stuff, but yeah, the main thing here is just like utility. It's like offensive utility, right? Like it has a good enough special attack stat to still get some KOs with super effective moves like Psychic, Earth Power, Aura Sphere, Energy Ball, Giga Drain, stuff like that. Leaf Storm. And then, yeah, it has tons of other exclusive moves. So I give it strength. So the thing is, I gave it Springtide Storm really early. Most Pokemon get it at like level 50 or 60 when they get like flinching moves. And again, not every Pokemon even has flinch moves to begin with, but most Pokemon don't. It's exclusive for a reason. But making Comfey feel more interesting. So it has double flinch, which is actually a unique trait. Not many Pokemon in a game get double flinch moves. The only other one I could think of right now off the top of my head is Sicilian Avalugg, who, you can go watch that video. Obviously, his are much stronger because he's got sheer force and they're both 90 base power and stab. But yeah, Comfey gets them super early. Even Avalugg gets them at like 50 and 60. Comfey gets them at fucking 34 and 17, right? So super early. Very good tools. Very fun. They've also got other exclusive healing moves like Strength Sap and Jungle Healing. Jungle Healing, excuse me. Jungle Healing will heal you, just a full nice little option once in a while if you need that quick healing. Obviously, something like Synthesis or Floral Healing will heal you more over time. You get 5 50% healing instead of 1 100% healing, but getting that priority full heal is definitely useful with Move Relearner. You can always slap it on. I might buff these moves in the future, the exclusive heal moves. I might make them 2 PP in the future. We'll have to see how things play out, but for now they're 1. But I might tweak those to be 2 PP in the future if I feel like they're underwhelming. You also got like Wish Regenerator. So the HP, this is the absolute highest HP stat I see on them, if I'm being real with y'all. You could make the argument, like I was borderline considering making them kind of like Vanilla Blissey, where like their HP is much higher and their physical defense is kind of shit, because honestly I don't know why their physical defense is so good. It doesn't make any sense. They're like a stupid little fucking flower Lee thing, right? Like you punch this motherfucker, he's not taking that. But hey man, that's just Pokemon logic sometimes. However, I didn't give them a big HP stat because they are tiny, and I really do try to base HP a little bit more on size or like the vibes of the Pokemon. And you can argue the whole healing, aroma, heat therapy type vibes, Pokemon Center healing vibe means that it makes sense to have a high HP stat. And honestly, I'd be inclined to agree with you, but I figured I'd rather just make it be well-rounded bulk instead of making it less phys def and more HP. I figured the well-rounded bulk is more appreciated overall, more versatile, which is good in like a Teamlocked, nuzlockes context, which again is what the game is balanced around. If you're 8 minutes in, you don't know what that is, pause the video and read the description, but I'm pretty sure almost everybody who made it this far into the video knows what that is already. So yeah, regen stuff's obviously great. You got tons of heal moves, Leech Seed 2, Encore, good utility, U-turn, regen, charm. You've also got exclusive charm and befriend, right? Charm and befriend befriend is special charm. However, you've also got Aromatic Mist, which is really nice. Aromatic Mist drops attack, special attack, and special defense, and it has 2 PP, so that's really strong, useful debuffing tool. And you've got high base power grass moves, once you hit the 40s. Chloroblast is kind of cool because it gives you a special attack boost, so you could do like a really cool combo is like Quick Claw Chloroblast to one-shot something. get a special attack boost because it now gives you a boost, take half your HP, and then you can Springtide Storm the next Pokemon, outspeed them with a 90 base power +1 special attack stab move, and heal the damage back from Chloroblast. That's a pretty cool combo. And you can always combo Springtide Storm into Pixie Dust being fairy priority, so you can use those two as like a nice little combo, which essentially Springtide Storm plus Pixie Dust is giving you effective 135 power priority overall, right? Because you're comboing, because it's a guaranteed flinch with Springtide. So that's all really cool. And you've also got Leaf Flurry and Gust for other coverage priority moves. You know, flying moves, I give them a couple because of the whole wind thing going on. They're like floating and flying. And then Coil is kind of a cool defensive boosting option just to boost your Fizz Dev up. Technically also accuracy, so you could use that with, you know, your... Honestly, if you really wanted to be that guy, you could go for some like really cheesy Coil holdback shenanigans to get like +4 attack, I think is the max you can get with that. And you know, at that point you're hitting pretty hard with even with base 30, but that's not exactly intended at all. Their physical move pool is also really bad. All they have is Seed Bomb and Play Rough and Acrobatics, and it's not terrible actually. Knock Off, not terrible. Lunge, actually, yeah, it's got some decent physical options, but yeah, pretty much a meme. I wouldn't actually run that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Simple, straightforward. Again, I know some babies in the comments are going to be whining about the Triage, but I mean, it's for the greater good. Rapid Fire is a way cooler ability. And Comfey, you know, I gave it a lot of really cool tools to make up for losing that Triage. And yeah, it functions a lot differently than it used to, but that's I should have said this earlier in the video, but that's the case with a lot of mons in this ROM hack, as you guys probably know. If you're 11 minutes in, you know this already, so I'm not going to waste time explaining that. But yeah, leave a comment down below if you made it to the end, guys. I really do appreciate that. And I'll be back for more coming up. Peace.